We would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. G'day, I'm Shell.
Kia ora, I'm Lou.
And welcome to the Xena Warrior Nutballs podcast. We have such a special guest today. I'm very, very excited. Should we tell them? It'd be on the title, hey.
Yes, exactly. It's on the title. No one's clicked into this and does not know who's coming up. And it is the magnificent, the original Midwest princess, eat your heart out, Chapel Roan, Adrienne Wilkinson.
Yeah, Adrienne Wilkinson. Woohoo. So cool. How cool is she?
She's the coolest of the cool. And look, to our sharp-eared, gentle listeners, they will notice very quickly she has an American accent. So you'll be wondering, hold the scroll. I thought this was about the New Zealanders and the Australians.
Yeah, we make exceptions for some.
Look, Adrienne is such an integral part of this fandom that we honestly couldn't imagine doing this and not trying to get her input into it and hearing what her experience was like working amongst the Kiwis and Aussies. So we're so stoked that she was keen to be part of it. And we're dubbing her as part of our extended whānau. So part of our extended family. We are welcoming her into the fold.
Into the Nutballs fold.
She's so lucky, isn't she?
And what about her generous work with her charity, The Greater Good? She has raised like so much money, auctioning off like really cool Xena stuff. And I actually won con tickets once.
Did you?
Yeah, for the Xena convention.
Xena convention tickets.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And so all that money that she generates, because she does that annually, doesn't she? Fundraiser goes to charities. She's a great person.
Yeah, she's a rock star.
She literally is. And she plays a bloody rock star. So maybe, Shell, you can give us a bit of background of like who she is to the Xenaverse.
Adrienne Wilkinson plays actually one of my favourite all-time characters, Xena's daughter.
Yes.
The bitch of Rome, Livia.
Yeah, we love.
Pretty much one of the most badass warriors in the whole Xenaverse. I love that character. Who becomes a messenger of peace, Eve.
You're kind of glazing over what I thought you would hook into immediately, which is that not only is she Xena, Warrior Princess's daughter, she's actually Callisto's daughter as well. So Callisto puts her soul, or gives her when Xena is pregnant. When Callisto is an she touches her belly and imbues her with some sort of spiritual essence, which means that her child is going to be both Xena and Callisto's. Oh my goodness. What in the gnome world?
And the first representation of like a queer family.
I know.
How cool, hey?
Like two mums. Getting to see Gabrielle and Xena raising Lilive. Well, I mean, until the untimely slamming in the ice coffins.
Yes, encapsulated.
Yeah, which ended in that enormous 25-year time jump, which makes sense why we have Adrienne Wilkinson as Eve/Livia as an adult.
For me personally, coming back as a mum, watching it, I feel represented.
Oh,
it was really cool. Like back in the day, like I didn't really give a shit because I didn't know I wanted children. But watching now, I'm like, oh, this is so good. I'm seen.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's
I really
nice.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And what a blowout. Adrienne Wilkinson, how much does she look like if Xena and Callisto had a child? That still blows my mind.
Yes, she does. And she's so humble about her performance that she commonly will default to that as the reason why she got cast. She'll say things, I've heard her say things like before, my genetics did all the heavy lifting. It is absolutely not true. She carries the weight and the presence of those two actresses so excellently. She vibes them out brilliantly in her and in her performance, and we love her. She is outstanding actress. And she really lifted lifted up the last 2 seasons for us.
Oh, 100%. Well said, man.
She comes in at the end of season 5 and helps us to round out for the whole of the series in season 6. And she's in a total of 10 episodes.
Only 10? That's mad. I feel like it was so much more.
Yeah. But you wouldn't know. She's such a fan favourite. When you hear her name and hear the character's name, it conjures a presence throughout the entire 6 seasons.
Totally.
Outside of the Xenaverse, she has a pretty astounding career. That was like... Getting to talk to Adrienne Wilkinson was such a trip.
Because you're a Star Wars fan, hey?
Mate, I'm a massive Star Wars fan. And she does like some... I've got to just like...
Look at you. You can't even get your words out. She's blushing.
She's absolutely amazing. She's so talented. She does Maris Brood's voice in Star Wars The Force Unleashed game. So it's a game from like 2008, right? And this is the beginning of when they are really getting into that like live action motion capture of actors with all the like doodacky technological shit on their heads, like ping pong balls and stuff.
Yes.
Capturing their faces.
Yeah, well said, mate.
Thank you. I know. Do I sound like I have any clue what I'm doing? No.
Yeah, you do know. That sounded really, it sounded ping-pongy. But yes, I know that it's the ping pong balls where they have the ping pong balls all over themselves. Yes, exactly.
And Maris Brood is a brilliant villain, like a really complex villain.
She's so good at villains.
She's so good at giving them depth.
Yeah.
You know, like a villain that you hate, but you
love to hate. You love to hate.
Yeah, but you're complicated to hate as well. You feel like, ooh, some kind of way. So she's in the Star Wars universe, but she's in the Star Wars universe in multiple ways. My favorite appearance of hers in Star Wars universe is as the daughter for Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels animated series. And the daughter is, I know, I'm sorry. Again, I'm trying to, first it was Lord of the Rings. Now it's Star Wars.
You're geeking out, bro. Oh, you love your Star Wars. Look at this. I never knew.
So she's in the Mortis arc, and the Mortis arc is a phenomenal arc where she's playing a character that pretty much is not quite the embodiment, but the main wielder of the light side of the Force, right? So the good side, so the Jedi.
Oh.
Yeah. And I hope they live action the shit out of this one day and she gets cast as the daughter, because that would be like this ethereal being. I think she would nail it. She would fucking kill it.
Yeah, cool, man.
Anyways.
Well, there you go, not Trekkie fans, sorry. So there you go, Star Wars fans.
You're not wrong. She is in the Trekkie universe too.
Is she really in the Trekkie universe?
Mm-hmm. She's in Star Trek Renegades.
Dude, she's done so much.
She is like next level. Yeah, she's so cool. We're so lucky. We're so honoured to have had her on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my God, she's a legend. Let's get straight into the interview, hey? It is so juicy. Here we go. Adrienne Wilkinson. It is with colossal Xenite excitement to welcome the one and only, the bitch of Rome, messenger of peace, fan favourite of the Xenaverse, the absolute legend of a human who played Livia Eve, the amazing Adrienne Wilkinson. Welcome to our podcast.
Ooh, thank you. And can you just walk ahead of me everywhere and not my presence? That was fun.
Oh, that's so great. So what I want to know, what was it like as a 22-year-old woman that is so young, stepping off the plane in Auckland, New Zealand, onto the set of Xena, Warrior Princess?
Well, the gorgeous thing, as we all eventually realize, the gorgeous thing about being 22 is that you know absolutely nothing, but are pretty sure you know everything. So you don't know enough to be worried. It was a grand adventure. I mean, Xena remains one of the best adventures of my life. I started the show at a very interesting time. Of course, God bless Lucy for having a baby, because that's how I got on the show. But when I joined the cast, Lucy was still very much a brand new mom, breastfeeding. Mm-hmm. They were trying to give her the easiest schedule as possible, which meant they could very heavily favor my character for the first few episodes, trying to give her further time to recover. And it was, just trial by fire. And I honestly didn't have I truly didn't have an ounce of extra energy to worry about anything because all I could do was focus on the next task and the next task and the next task. I had never done fighting before then. I had never ridden horseback on camera until then. I'd never worked with weapons. I had insane jet lag. I was working with costumes that were very complicated and brand new, so they were falling apart as, in the middle of scenes and things like that. So there were just all sorts of, just lots of chaos that kept it interesting and fun. And I loved every second. But there's this story that I've told on stage before that I think really encapsulates my experience. And it's, I was 22, so I was too young for a rental car. So I had a driver every day that would pick me up at the hotel and take me to set and come back. And I don't mean anything fancy. I mean, it was a PA in their, held together with duct tape car. But, it got me from point A to point B. And I had this lovely driver, this guy who was just so sweet. And he was like a surfer and just really chill but also great, very on time and count onable. And I'm a very type A personality. I'm early for everything. I'm prepped and ready. Mm-hmm. And one day, it was either the second or third episode, I had just been filming nonstop, and he dropped me off at the hotel and said, "Okay, I'll see you in the morning." And I was like, "Cool." And I walked up into my room. I turned on the shower. I sat down on the edge of the bed to take off my shoes and just rest a minute while the water was heating up. And I just laid down, and a couple minutes later, the phone rings, and I answer the phone, and it's my driver. And I was like, "Yeah, did I leave something in the car?" He's like, "You're late, and what's going on?" And I was like, "What?" I had slept all night long with my feet on my fully clothed, my shoes on, my feet on the floor, on top of the bed, not under the covers, just laying with my feet on the floor, back on the bed. Yeah. And I had fallen asleep that way and slept the entire night. I was so tired, never had a shower. So that's the kind of edge that you were working, is just, just keep going. And you're surrounded by amazing people all doing the same thing. And you're working together as a team, and you don't want to let anybody down. So I think sometimes you ignore for yourself how exhausted you are, Yeah,
that's amazing. That's such long hours. You're right. Being 22, you just sort of hold on and go through it. I think being in my 40s, I'd have a breakdown and need therapy. That's hardcore.
It was. At this point, I would still want to give it a go as much as I did in my early 20s, but I definitely would have more self-care in mind. I would definitely, I've realized about myself that I'm so focused on the finished product that we're making that I never want to be the squeaky wheel. I never wanted to be the one causing a problem, but having your needs met is not causing a problem. So I would definitely be more vocal now about some of the things that would have made it an easier journey for me.
And what would you be vocal about?
Well, I mean, I can say a very specific incident that I've been thinking about a lot recently is that in one of the rehearsals for the horseback riding, they were just trying to find the right horse and get the right pairing, which was actually complicated because in my first episode, I actually had 4 different horses because they each had a different specialty. So one of them couldn't stand anything over its head. So he couldn't work, or I can't remember if I had a boy or a girl horse, but my horse couldn't work in the arena, that particular horse, because if there were people above them in the, quote unquote stands, it would panic, freak out. Wow. Or a different horse couldn't work around fire, and a different, they each have, like all of us, they each have their strengths and weaknesses. But it meant that in that first episode, I had multiple horses. So it wasn't even getting a relationship with one. Wow. It was trying to get a relationship with multiples while in just the course of a few minutes. But I've actually never told this story, which I guess, I don't know if that goes to show my embarrassment or my growth. But in the rehearsal of trying to initially just have them sort of see how I am on horseback, I was thrown off the horse. And it was in the arena, just in my sweats. It was, I landed on soft ground. And honestly, I wasn't freaked out by it, but they got freaked. And it turns out that same horse had thrown someone the week before.
Oh,
And
no.
I would never consider myself a horsewoman, but I had grown up my whole life on horses because my mom always had them. So I had a bit of a background and I'd never had an issue before. But I definitely landed poorly and did not want to admit that I had landed poorly. And I tweaked my back fiercely. And I should have had some medical attention and didn't.
Wow.
And to this day, if something gets out of whack in my body, it hits in that exact same spot because it's just where where things were tweaked and, not in a serious way. I don't want to make it bigger than it was, but I should have seen a chiropractor, had a massage, just something.
Oh, totally.
No, I'm fine. I'm totally good. Let's go.
I can hear you saying, oh, I was 22. And a gift of the youth is that fearlessness that you have because you're not quite burdened with too much caution yet. But at the same time, I'm hearing about how you had to foster those quick relationships with 4 different horses on the set of the opening episode that you're coming into. I think that's such a testimony to you and your professionalism and your skills. Because at 22, Adrienne, I could barely brush my teeth. I'm just wondering, was it different for you working amongst Kiwis and Aussies as opposed to having worked on like American sets before that?
I'm really lucky that I could still say this today. I haven't really ever had a terrible experience. I've worked with really great people. There's the occasional bad apple, but I've never had, or more specifically, there are the occasional bad apples, but usually it's just a human having a bad day. And, it sort of gets blown out of proportion. But I just think that I gravitate towards people that sort of have the same energy that I do. I'm from the Midwest and, it's sort of known as the Midwest work ethic, but I believe that's true, that there's something about really being excited to finish a day, to finish a project, to reach the goal that you have started. And I've just never, I guess much to my detriment, I've just never really been a prima donna. So I've never I've never thought of the business as being glamorous because I've always been aware that it's glamorous on screen. And then if you pan 6 inches to the left, you're in a warehouse. There's a crew member smoking a cigarette, It's illusion and it's beautiful because it's the exploration of human truth, but it's not fantasy in the way that people think that it is. The actual making of it is very blue collar. You're surrounded by electricians and construction workers and truck drivers. And, that's what it takes to make this magic. And then in the midst of that, you also have all of these various kinds of artists. But all of these artists are people who want to get into the nitty gritty of it. They're not, it's not an art gallery situation. It's a workshop situation, up to our knees in sawdust kind of a thing, and happy about it because of what we are all making together. And I guess, the Kiwi thing was, I had absolutely no expectations one way or the other. I just wasn't aware enough to have a clue. But I was so grateful that when I got there, the Kiwi people, the Aussie people, just everyone in that area seemed to be of that same ilk of just, let's have a great time, but let's really make something great. We're not going to have tantrums. We're not going to, just maybe that can happen after work, but it certainly doesn't happen at work. And I just remember at moments, the leads of a show always really set the tone. And I can certainly remember at moments when anything started to get a little sloppy, if the ADs didn't do it, Lucy would jump in and clap her hands and be like, hey, we got to make this day. Let's, not in a mean way, but in a motivational way.
Yeah.
It sort of made me, how do I say this? I didn't have the cojones at the time to have done that myself, but Lucy was always speaking what I was thinking, so cool. Come on, let's keep this train running, and just showing up prepared and doing things that are insane. And, stuff is being asked of you, it's such a gift, but it's also terrifying every week when you would receive the new script. because you didn't know what your fate was. Like, you didn't know, like, oh my God, am I going to be in a barrel full of rats, or am I going to, like, you just, awesome. It was exciting, but it was also like, oh my God, what's about to happen? And if you fight it, it becomes bad. It becomes miserable for you. But if you're just like, all right, I guess I'm in a barrel full of rats this week.
Wow. And what a cool setup for life as well. As a 22-year-old, as a young person, learning all like, bugger it, let's just do it. And then carrying that into your adult life, just going, walk through the fear. There's no use worrying about it.
Yeah. And I wish that I had some elevated thought about like, oh, ignore your fear. But it was, I don't want to get fired. Like, let's make this thing, because there's a million women that would like to take my place if they had the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make this happen. And I do it for the integrity of the show, and I do it for the integrity of the character, and for the integrity of myself. I want to do a great job and have work I'm proud of, and not be regretful that I didn't make a bigger, braver choice or, stuff like that.
And you did an incredible job. Like,
oh, thank you.
For me, Livia is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, I love it.
And of course I love Eve as well, but Livia was
Livia was a badass. And I mean, my God, her costume did like at least half the work for her. It was so beautiful and fierce. And just, I mean,
I would say your acting was just badass. It was very cool. Like it's all you just summons like this, and I think there's like a few different types of Xenites, especially with the OGs. You sort of got the ones that are very into the badass type of stuff, and then love the relationship. I'm like badass all the way, and Livia was just like awesome. So
she was. Her moral compass was very specifically filtered.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing because it was such a foreign experience to me, and the experience of, Livia was rewarded for her bad behavior because her bad behavior was considered good behavior. Like that's what they had to treat her for.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was wild to just sort of embody that and live in it. And I definitely had to show up with everything in me that I could muster, because you realize it's not just you, you're surrounded by 400 people that are having to be paid. And if you mess this up, the stakes are really high. And, this set piece is on fire, and this guy is falling off a horse, and these guys are falling off of a building. And, there's all of this stuff that you're like, I have to make this work. So
incredible.
Yeah. So you hope that you do.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool.
You kind of reflected on the fact that is an element of like when you're in this biz that you are in, you do have to show up. You've got to do the hard work. You've got to do the hard work. And there is an element of, we call it she'll be right in Australia and New Zealand. We're just like, it's just this unflappable optimism that you're just going to, whatever you're going to achieve, this crazy madness, like you're going to be dragged through a burning building. You're going to do that and you're going to be fine. And it sounds like you kind of almost have that imbued in yourself already.
I would describe it a little differently, but it is a similar thought. First of all, I will say it was not until after I had wrapped Xena Warrior Princess and was on to other projects that I then learned that it was, how do I say this? It did not occur to me that I could get hurt because so many people were tasked with the job of making sure I didn't get hurt. There were stunt doubles and stand-ins, and I was being trained by really great people, and I was confident in my own skills. And it wasn't until I was on other projects. I was on a terrible sci-fi movie a few years later, and they were shooting, we were in a fighter plane, and they were shooting at the cockpit, and they were using paintball guns, not real bullets, but they were supposed to be shooting at us.
They hurt.
And I was in the back seat, and there was a guy in the front seat. And because I'd worked on these incredible projects, it didn't even occur to me that I wouldn't be safe. The other actor in front of me, he said, "Is the cockpit bulletproof?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, of course it is." And he goes, "Prove it. I want you to," he's like, "I'm getting out of this. I'm going to stand on the side and I want you to prove it to me." And they shot that paintball gun and it went through one side of the cockpit and through the other. And it was not remotely bulletproof. And it was such a lesson to me of like, oh my God, no one is in charge of me, of my safety other than me. Like I have to cover all of that. And I mean, I was probably 24 at that point. But on Xena, I really felt incredibly safe. Everybody was, really good at their jobs. But of course, there's a lot of moving pieces. But the part that I brought personally that I think is similar to what you were saying is I have a belief that if I am hired for a job, I am the right person to do the job. So I don't spend any time in self-doubt or panic. I just trust that it's in there, even if I don't know it yet. Even if I haven't found it yet, I was hired for a reason. And equally, I believe that there are certain jobs I think I'm right for that I don't get. And I think, oh, it's because the thing that character needed was in that person. And even though I resonate with it, it wasn't in me, like that character chose that person. So I just don't waste time if something has chosen me, it's for a reason. I'm meant to be there, and I just don't have time to waste on panic. So that's kind of how I approach it.
Oh, I love that. That's such a beautiful approach. Like, I'm just thinking about jobs and stuff like that in the everyday life. That's such a lovely way to think about it.
Oh, as a fellow performer, that was really just like a nugget of wisdom. I just want to like print all that out and stick it in
I
the
love
studio.
it. Go for it.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you. I think this is a good time to jump to the question of Livia and Eve. Like, there's such different characters, right? There's of the same coin, but completely different. How did you approach that as a young actress?
Well, I'm realizing as I'm saying this, I'm about to admit that I was just a liar, because the part where some panic came up for me was in this switch, because I hadn't been told to expect it. I had no idea it was happening. So it's like I said earlier, where I got the script and I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? What? Like, I honestly didn't know any of that as I was reading it. And it threw me for a loop, because the first episode, I got some stuff right, but there was stuff I struggled with. But the second episode, I felt so good in the skin of Livia. I just felt like I got it. I was so excited to do so much more with that character.
Yeah.
Right at the moment when I found out, oh, you don't get to do that character anymore.
Oh.
And so I was a bit heartbroken, and it was just like trying to shift gears when it was unexpected. And I loved the story of Eve completely.
Yeah.
But in terms of satisfaction, it's a very different type of role to play.
Yeah.
I went from being so active and so big to just a shell, which was right for the story and beautiful for the story. But it was not as much fun. It wasn't as satisfying. It was, I just was really, I made some choices so I could connect with it that I feel confident in and still happy with today. But it was just a different experience. And so there was just sort of multiple feelings that were always happening as I was navigating that.
How soon was that? Was that like a week in advance that you got the script? Or was it like a month notice where you had to develop?
No. Maybe like 5 days, something like that. Like, we usually got the script on a Thursday, had a table read Thursday night, and would start the filming on Monday.
Oh, wow.
So, it's a
hectic.
very fast process. So again, you don't really have a lot of time to panic. But more than that, I almost just feel like I didn't have a lot of time to grieve, because I thought I was starting this experience with this character to realize I'm now sort of starting an experience with a totally different character, which I was just as grateful for, but the ride was not as fun with her, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can feel that. But did you go into a whole backstory with Livia? Did you start to, as an actor, go into this sort of like molding of this character, and then it was just sort of Eve?
Well, the only way that I could make it make sense to me quickly, and of course it had to be quickly because I was starting work on it immediately. And I was very lucky that I haven't dealt with this in my own life, but just from viewing people around me, the only through line I could come up with was that Livia was an addict and her addiction was violence. And the only way for Eve to survive was for her to quit cold turkey. Like, she could not tempt herself with anything. So she not only wouldn't engage, but she was very dismissive of it, judgmental of it. But that was a protective mechanism, because she knew if she picks up that sword, like, heads are going to roll. So And so I think she just didn't trust herself, had come face to face with the consequences of her actions. And she'd never had to do that before because she'd always been rewarded for it in the past. She had never, like, I can't remember the episode, but there was some episode where in the table read, someone confronts me. You guys would know this episode, but I just can't remember it all anymore. But someone confronts me about throwing a bunch of Amazons off a ship. And it was like hundreds of Amazons that I'd thrown to their death, just like with the wave of my hand. And just this massive...
Path of Vengeance?
Yes.
That one?
Maybe.
No.
I don't know. You guys tell me. But it was this, sort of genocide that I had enacted on this ship. And I remember in the table read, I said to Rob, yeah, but they're not serious. She didn't really do that. That's just like the crazy rumor that, and he looks at me like I had three heads. He was like, no, she absolutely did that. She killed all of those people. And I remember, just being like, oh my God, okay, that's who she is. And then, again, having to sort of wrap my head around it, but sort of like me in that moment, having to come to terms with, oh my God, she killed all of those people. I also think Livia had never had to face it and come to terms with it until someone showed up and like made her face it. And that's when the horror of it, when you're no longer being touted as the best warrior in Rome and the savior of Rome and the bitch of Rome and, all of that, you then realize like, oh, I'm a mass murderer and that's not awesome.
Yeah.
No.
It's a real gear change that all of us were sort of navigating in the entire story. Everyone's trying to wrap their head around that.
I love that connection that you've highlighted around, that you saw and you plugged into around Eve. And so Eve, obviously, she had to go a bit teetotal. I also love it because a big part of addiction recovery is often accountability, having to stand up in that and say sorry to certain people and own your choices and your mistakes that you've made in the past. That's like huge. And we kind of see that. Like, that's a big part of Eve's journey.
I would agree. It definitely is part of Eve's journey, and certainly the journey of addiction and just trying to find your true self and sort of take off all of those masks and layers. Eve was... you talk about like a person without a country, and Eve was sort of a person without a home. She had these deep, deep wounds going back to childhood, and wounds that were probably so deep she didn't really even remember them. And then she was surrounded by all of these people that were supporting her and raising her up, but none of it was for her best good. It was for their best good. So, I made jokes about it in my little TikTok thing, but it was true that, her boss is sort of also her soon-to-be husband and also her kind of father. And, you tie all of those things up, you twist all of those threads, and you have a person that doesn't know who to trust and where is safe. And the only thing she knows is where she's getting approval. And the approval was from being a more and more violent person and a more and more effective warrior. So when that's what you have known and suddenly you realize that's not the thing that should be celebrated, you've lost everything. What do you have? And so Eve was really not even just a shell of a person. I mean, I don't know what to say that could be even smaller than that, because she's trying to build from the ground up, but with absolutely no sense of trust. And even though the audience knows to trust Xena and Gabrielle, Eve really didn't. I mean, even if she chose that path in that moment, it's still terrifying. She doesn't know how to trust herself, but she doesn't know how to trust anyone around her. So it's this, she's just constantly confronted. She was an open wound. And again, as an open wound, I think her natural reaction would be to lash out in violence, but she had chosen not to do that. So instead, she became she became impotent. She became really fragile and frail, and even her voice totally changed, because she had gone from having all the confidence in the world to basically having none at all. And it's a harder thing to root for, even if you really want her to succeed.
That's so true.
Yeah, wow.
So, Adrienne, this is a bit of a gear shift, and I'm sorry to change like this, but one of my favorite cast stories is that you literally didn't know that you were cast in the role of Xena's daughter until you were on the flight to New Zealand. I was also wondering, though, in that moment of realization where you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be Xena's daughter, were you also aware that you're about to be effectively the first representation of a gay on screen? So having two mums.
Absolutely not. As a 22-year-old and as someone who was taking her first international flight and, all of this stuff, it did not occur to me to think big picture. I was thrilled to be playing her daughter, but it didn't change the importance of it to me. It did later once I sort of understood it more. Mm-hmm. But in the moment, I was like, whoa, plot twist, I had no idea. And truthfully, I thought that I would not be cast on the show because I had a certain resemblance to Lucy. We were both brunettes. We both had these cheekbones. We both had blue eyes. And so certainly back in the 90s, they would always cast physically different types. You would always, Lucy would be flighting a blonde or an African American or a redhead or something totally different from herself. So I just thought it was working against me, having no idea that it was actually, sort of the secret weapon that got me the job. So it made sense to me when I got the job. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because honestly, up until then, I fully thought, oh, they're just going to wig me. They're going to put me in a red wig or somehow make me different. Yeah. So it was a nice surprise to know that, sort of innately myself is what got the job. It was ridiculous, but that's as far as my ability to think, to future think. That's as far as it went. I had absolutely no cultural awareness to a deep degree of Xena Warrior Princess. Of course, it was in the zeitgeist. Lucy was an icon, but I hadn't actually watched the show at that point. It was brand new to me. So there's a lot of things I was just not aware of. And I was so busy that I'm not someone who ever... I realize this is early days of the internet, but it would never have occurred to me to go on a message board or go on to look at comments or something like that. So I was very much unaware of the fandom in terms of how big it was, but also in terms of, everything the fandom was celebrating. I didn't have a clue. I was completely clueless.
So you weren't aware of the subtext at all?
I'm going to say this in a clumsy way, but it's what was happening at the time. I was aware at the time that there were juvenile jokes, at least in American society, about wink, wink, what's happening between those two leads on that show.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no understanding of the soulmate aspect of subtext was a thing I knew intellectually, but I did not know specifically to that show. Yeah. So it all kind of, my awareness came at once with all of these things in the midst of my life. So,
wow. It's an awakening.
It is. What a gorgeous gift. It's absolutely incredible. But it's, it's again, one of those things where you have to assume that you were the right person in the right place at the right moment for that, to have that experience and to shepherd that experience into culture, not to take any credit. That was just me being able to, be there and represent the writers and, all of that. But it was absolutely cool. It's something I'm fiercely proud of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is it something that I was aware of at 22? Hell no. I was just trying not to fall down.
Wow. Thank you for your honest answer.
Yeah,
very cool.
Oh, of course. That. I could be revisionist and say, but no. 22, no.
Yeah.
We love the honesty. It's good.
Yeah.
So Adrienne, just to stay in the world of subtext, as much as we love to talk about Xena and Gabrielle, Eve, your character, she has her own subtext between Varia and the Queen of the Sorry. I'm sorry. Can I say that again?
She's excited about this question.
I am very excited.
Yeah. I hope I don't disappoint.
So your character Eve has subtext with Varia, Queen of the Amazons. This ship is actually the fourth most popular in the fandom. I'm wondering why you think fans are so drawn to it.
Oh, I'd give Chanina all the credit. She was so gorgeous and such an amazing stunt woman. I think she had been, I'm probably not going to get the title quite right, but when she was on the show, she had just won the title of like Miss Fitness USA or something like that.
Wow.
She was just, in phenomenal shape and could do so many of her own stunts. And I mean, that costume, come on now, that was crazy. And she was just a cool person. And I mean, I have two reactions when I hear about that. First of all, I didn't know it was in the top 4. That does honestly shock me. And tip of the hat, thank you all. I will wear that crown proudly. But I do have two schools of thought on it. The first is we definitely understood there was a bit of flirtation in some of the writing that was, particularly everyone knows that scene where we were comparing scars.
Yeah.
That was an homage to I don't remember the number, but one of the Lethal Weapon movies had just come out. And that scene was with Rene Russo and Mel Gibson. They were comparing scars. And it was, this very sexy scene that, if I remember correctly, ends up, with the two of them in bed together or something. So it was a charged scene and we knew it. And we got the giggles multiple times. And, we could tell we were writing the line. We understood that. But legitimately, the part that I do not understand, and I feel the same way about William Gregory Lee, is that there's also a lot of the fandom who have put he and I together in series. But the thing I don't understand is that I killed her baby sister and I killed his father. I just don't feel like that's the person you then have sexy time with. It feels like a disconnect to me. And of course I could be wrong. But that it just seems like a very big hurdle for any love story to try to get over. So that's where I come from.
That's classic. So true.
Look, I agree. It's not the most traditional fertile ground for romance to blossom, I don't think.
It's very Richard III, isn't it?
True. And I mean, they never talk about it really, just suddenly we're cool with it.
Yeah. It's like, done with that now. Let's get to it.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Hilarious. Was there much room for improv on set, or were you guys like really stuck to your lines?
Well, compared to most network shows, we had some wiggle room.
Oh, cool.
And the reason we had wiggle room was because there were 13,000 miles between us and most of the writers. And, a big old gap of time zones.
Yeah.
That really does make a difference, because normally the writers are all right there with you. The studio is right there with you, oftentimes with a representative on set. And by the time I was on the show, they were very trusted. Usually the writer of that episode would be on set for rewrites in the moment in case things weren't working, or if like a location had to change or some big thing like that. But we definitely had more flexibility. I was always taught you have to be word perfect in a network show. And, the word of a writer is God, and I would always trust that. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say they let us improv. I would say we would maybe play with things a little bit during the reading, could maybe play with things a little bit during the taping. Every once in a while, if they had gotten exactly what they needed, you could ask for one more take and do something a little crazier.
Cool.
But you're talking within a limited time frame. And also, Xena had more set hour. I mean, the hours would go crazy long, just like any television show or any filming at all. But because so much of the show was filmed outdoors, we had a natural limit with the sundown. So as soon as sunset happened, our scenes would have to end unless it was a night scene. If the episode took place during the day, and then, of course, in New Zealand, I feel like almost every single day it rains at least 30 minutes. Like you just have a shower that shows
crazy.
up.
Yeah.
So you're also trying to find continuity and there's just a lot of moving pieces. So I would say we certainly could try things a little bit, but there was a schedule to be kept that we couldn't really run away from that much. We definitely had to keep it in bounds.
This is a great segue for my next question, which is probably maybe my favorite scene in all of Xena. Did you improv the cussing scene, or were you word for word? Like,
Well, oh, that's funny. I've never had that question asked in that way. So this is what I'll say. I guess maybe I was improvising and not realizing I was, but on script, what the script actually said was you beep, 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 da-na-na,
Great.
beep, beep, beep. It just said, it just had beep and, like blanks for where words would be. But it's not like on set you're going to say the word beep or,
Yeah.
So I just filled in with what I thought was appropriate.
It's hilarious.
And I was filming something else at the time. So I actually landed in New Zealand a day or two later than they had wanted. So I wasn't at that table read. So the first time they saw me do that material was on set.
Brilliant.
And they also had not warned any of the extras. And the extras lost their minds. Like, they were well behaved, but that first take could never have been used because all of my Eli's followers were like behind me being like, what the hell is happening?
That's wonderful.
I don't understand how I could have delivered it otherwise, but I guess kind of everyone was shook up. But maybe that's because they just weren't expecting it from me. They had hoped I could do it, and maybe it was just delightfully surprising them. I honestly don't know. You'd have to ask someone else. But I know at the time, I couldn't have imagined anything else. So that's just what I did.
Funny.
And what I can also tell you, just as a piece of trivia, because I wear this proudly, that episode was banned in Canada.
Yes.
That scene.
That's great.
Yes, Adrienne.
And it's because you could read my lips, so that even though it was beeped, you could see what I was saying. And in Canada in, 2002, whatever it was, they were like, oh, no.
That is so good. You're such a wonderful comedic actress. Like, I love your comedy. It's very, very funny. Your online stuff that you were doing with the cardboard cutout of Xena.
I lost my mind, and I did
taking her
it
to the
publicly.
beach, and it's so
I
funny.
just had to do it. I got this idea. It was because there was the actor strike and the writer strike all happening at once, and we had a Xena Warrior Princess Day in support of the writer strike. And the cast members who still lived in LA, Renee and myself, and writer Stephen Sears and writer Catherine Puget, we all got together to support the writers. And because Lucy couldn't be there, they had brought a cardboard cutout of Lucy. And so Renee and I, the cardboard cutout, we were standing at the corner, which it happened to be in front of Universal Studios, which is also Universal Studios, the theme park. Those are both on the same property.
Yeah.
So they took this picture of us. And when I saw it, I laughed out loud because it just looked like me and my moms were on vacation at Universal Studios.
Going to the theme park.
Exactly. And then I thought, oh my God, me and my moms have to be on vacation at Universal. Like, we have to do this. And of course, it was too much to ask Renee to commit to that nonsense. So I got her in for a few episodes, and I did the rest of the insanity on my own. An absolute fact, I thought that idea up and wrote down probably 200 ideas in one afternoon.
Wow.
And then called a friend and I said, hey, I need one of those Xena cutouts. Do you know, or stand-ups? Do you know where I can find one? And she goes, there's one in my garage. What? So I borrowed it from her, and the rest is history. I recorded it over the course of about 6 months, but almost, I would say 85% of it I did in 2 weeks. Like, one day I did more than 70 episodes, just nothing about. And it was all improv. I would just write down an idea, but I knew all of those relationships so well. And it's just funny to think of warriors in modern day. And the whole gimmick, for anyone that hasn't seen it, the gimmick is just that my mom won't talk to me. So she, of course, is a piece of cardboard. But she's pissed off at me. She will not talk to me. So I just keep trying harder and harder and harder to impress her. And she just will not give me an inch. So
I think one of my favorites is Gabrielle cooking a vegan burger.
So amazing. I was so thrilled that she was willing to come and play.
Oh,
so great.
Can I just say that one of my favorites was They Won't Stop Flirting?
Oh my God.
Somehow Renee O'Connor as Gabby makes a joke about bareback riding in relation to Xena.
Yep.
Adrienne, what?
Oh, you see my face. I turned 3 shades of red in that episode. I was like, Renee.
Oh, that's great.
I thank you for your service to the lesbian community, Adrienne. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. You're a legend.
You're a legend.
Yeah.
Oh. Adrienne, I know you've been asked this a billion, 100 billion, zillion times, but look, we would be terrible Xena fans if we didn't continue asking you, which is, what are your thoughts on a reboot, a revival, or let Xena lie?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So I'm going to say something that is the brutal, awful truth that no one wants to hear.
Oh, no.
It's not even brutal and it's not even awful. It's just that once people hear it, they go, oh, yeah, that's right. So I'll say it. So here's the thing. Nobody wants a reboot. Nobody does. They think they do, but nobody does, because what they actually want, everybody wants there to be a secret treasure box that was somehow, buried in a cavern that someone finds. Then they open it up and there's 105 new VHS tapes of episodes that were filmed in 1997 but never aired. I'd be happy to do it. We'd all be happy to do it. But seeing a bunch of women that are not as excited to be fighting now as we were back then, it's going to be like we're tripping a lot of people as opposed to we're going to find the easy way to be, winning a fight. And I'm happy to do that. Like, I really, there had been rumors there would be a Livia spinoff, and, I don't know how true that is or not, but I love the idea of continuing that character, continuing those stories. I always felt she would find balance. I would love the idea to find out that, to find out what happened to that crazy couple, and to find out what actually happened to Livia and where she is now. And, to see some people as really grizzled old warriors and, some hilarious guest spots. I think it would be amazing. It would be so fun. But it's, it's very different. We would all be in our muumuus, with a daiquiri, just telling war stories. That's what Xena Warrior Princess 2.0 would be, which I'm fine with. If they want to make that hilarious show, count me in.
How good would that be? It'd be excellent. Oh, please. That would probably be the funniest. I think it would be great to do
it would be hilarious.
A middle-aged
but
Xena, Everyone's just pissed off, perimenopausal, it's just
dealing
Xena
with hot flashes.
Yeah.
I'm going to behead that guy. Why'd you behead that guy? I'm sorry. I just got hot.
Flash. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in, but just everyone needs to be prepared for that. Or otherwise they're tuning in, ready to see 1997 and all of its glory. Yeah. And I got to tell you, what's happening now is very different.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah. Equally fabulous in a very different way. You can get away with things in your 20s that you simply can't later.
Smokes and mirrors.
Yes, yes, exactly. And this is one moment when all of us might be AI seems like a good best friend right now. What we really want is to keep what it was sacred and not dilute it in any way. But my God, if I could work with that crew again, all of that cast and crew, that group of people, I'd be over the moon. I'd do it in a heartbeat. We had a great time. I mean, how could you not? It was such a grand adventure. Everyone was great at their jobs. It was just experts working with experts, or experts making other people experts because you rise to meet them, So working with them again would be an absolute yes. Every time I go to a convention and we get to meet up again, it's great. It's hilarious and funny and interesting. But, times have changed. That show, we love it for what it was, even though there were certain things about it that were also overtly problematic. And now we are learning, but that was also weirdly kind of the magic of it. The fact that it was clumsy in the telling of some of its tales, the fact that it was ridiculously campy, the fact that it was a bit like a Barbie doll factory where we all came out with the same skin color and the same long hair and the same push-up bras. And, it was glorious fun. It was absolutely delightful to do, and also delightful to take off at the end of the day and not be, not have to carry that image around with you. I mean, it would just be a very different thing now, and it could be beautiful and amazing. And I never want to be the person that says no to continuing something that was great. But I just know you can't continue something that was great without knowing it will be something entirely different. Doesn't mean it won't also be great, but it will be very different. And that's not actually what the fans are asking for.
I've always really wanted an open world Xena Warrior Princess game. With all your Star Wars experience, I wonder if you'd be able to do it with Lucy and Renee in the future.
Hey, maybe we'll try that.
I would love that.
I mean, I really like the Moo and Margarita idea. That seems the most fun.
Moo and Margaritas it is.
See? I'm in.
Oh, man. So what are you working on at the moment?
It's that classic thing where I'm working on multiple things I can't really talk about, but I'll tell you what I can. So one of the things I can tell you, which is kind of exciting, is one of my favorite things I have ever done in my life was a show called Sidetracked. It was a group of my friends who are all fantastic artists. Some of you might know Tracy Toms. It's 4 friends in 24 hours of their lives together. But we did this on a shoestring budget.
Cool.
We filmed this 24 hours over the course of 5 years.
Wow.
So the continuity is maybe not great. But I love it so much. We have had so much love for the show, and it's only been available in very specific places. But I was told by the producers that by October, it's supposed to be available on YouTube now. So I hope everyone will watch it. It is a blast. It covers so many different types of people, types of situations. It is comedy with a little drama sprinkled in, but it's lovely. So Sidetracked is the show. And of course, I'll put it on social media once it's available.
Right. And
I can also tell you, I can't get into the specifics, but I am in the midst of such a fun video game right now. I am playing a villain, which of course is my favorite thing.
Yes.
Cool.
And I mean, it's a video game, so it's going to take a long time. It probably won't be out for another year and a half. But as soon as I can talk about it, I will, because I am having the time of my life with this character. It is performance capture and voice, which is super fun. I just always love it.
Cool. So are you like wearing the capturing?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I love how you say that like it's a benefit, because it is actually my least favorite thing. You're essentially wearing like a scuba suit, and there's like a camera attached to your head, and there's reflectors all over your body that the computers are reading. It's really, you have to sort of work to overcome the outfit instead of what normally happens, like with Livia, where the outfit is helping you tell the story of the character.
Of course. Of
So,
course.
it's kind of this complicated process, but it is just some juicy writing, and it's really fun. And I think it's going to be quite an impactful project. So I'm excited about that one.
Wow, that's very cool.
And it's so funny. I'm always careful not to get myself in trouble. But I'm filming another project this fall that is a sci-fi project. We're doing sort of an extended trailer for it just to make sure it's basically a bunch of testing to make sure everything can work how we want it to work before we film the entire thing, which is hopefully next year. But yeah, as soon as I can chat about that, I'll tell you. And I guess one thing I would like to shout out is, because it's become really close to my heart, is that for about 20 years, I have also been a creative consultant. So I help people with their films. I help them with their novels. I just basically anything in the creative realm whatsoever. I have found that I have a piece in that is really helpful. And about 2020, 2021, I opened it up so that it was not just my colleagues, but anyone who connects with me, and it feels like a good idea for us to go on this creative journey together. So we do brainstorming, we do, idea solving, I do the editing and feedback and all kinds of things like that.
Oh, great.
You can connect with me on any of my media, and, we can discuss that. It's something that I love so much. And in this moment where AI is becoming such a big deal, and it's a tool, right? I'm not going to bash AI, because it is a tool that will do wonderful things. But it is also, unfortunately, taking away what I think is some of the most sacred parts of humanity, which is the creativity part.
Yeah. The arts.
And creation is what humans are here to do. And even if it's not a public, big media, big money thing that you're trying to do. Creation is really part of human souls. It's what we need to be doing. You know, I think we're sort of made for show and tell. Like, I don't care if you've just made some cookies or you've, you know, painted the back of a cereal box, or else you have created some massive mega thing. All of those, I really think, are healing and are so important to our souls. And I truly think it's important. If something is tempting you to write, it means you're meant to write. If something is tempting you to try whatever medium, I think it's important. I think it's really healing our souls. And to be honest, I think it also heals our brains. You know, creativity is one of the only things that actually creates new brain cells. And as we age, I think it becomes just more and more important to really honor that part of ourselves and keep moving through it. So anyway, that's another thing that I do when I have time. And it's just the amount of clients I have is based on the amount of time I have. But it feels holy to me, just absolutely sacred.
Yeah, I was really conscious not to interrupt you there, because that was just...
Same.
That's amazing. Like, as a creative... Thank you for doing that. And I will shout it out to all my creative friends out there, all my artists and performers and it's so good that we can do that over the computer now. Like, we don't have to fly all the way to LA, and even though that would be great, but what a wonderful thing you're doing, just giving back all your experience. So thank you for doing that, because us creatives, we really do spin the world around. So thank you.
It's important. And it's, you know, I used to sort of say it's important and feel a little embarrassed about it, but it's truly important for our mental health and for our spiritual being and, you know, just our sense of accomplishment. So many people they have something they want to say in whatever way, and they talk themselves out of saying it. And that, I think, is incredibly damaging. I think it makes our wounds deeper. I think it adds to a lot of depression. I think there's just so many ways in which, if you can express yourself, even if it's messy. I mean, you know, so many people they're embarrassed to be a beginner at something, or they're embarrassed when something isn't perfect. And it's like what I tell my writers. The only thing your first draft has to do to be perfect is exist. That's it. It just has to be there. It can be absolutely terrible. And it's perfect as it is because it exists. And now you can start shaping it into the thing you actually want it to be.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So where can people find and support you, Adrienne?
Sure. So most of my social media is at Adrienne W. So the youngsters out there won't get that reference, but the others will.
I got it straight away, all the way, baby. Go Rocky.
Exactly. Yo, Adrienne. So my website is just my name, adriennewilkinson.com, and you can find all of my socials there. My consulting website is planamediagroup.com, but again, you can also find that on my websites and social media. And that's kind of my stuff.
Adrienne, thank you so much for being part of our extended whānau, part of our family. It's just been so great to have your insights, like your reflection, and it's just so cool to hear about your time in Aotearoa amongst all us Kiwis and Aussies. I think often about this fandom and how genuinely lucky we are to have legends like yourself that are continuing with such incredible work, like your charity for the greater good, the show's legacy in and of itself. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for all you do for us.
Yeah.
And a final thank you for the queer community. Like, you're outstanding.
Thank you.
Thank you
for being an ally. We love you.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much for having me.
That was a highlight, man. Hey?
That was unbelievable. As a Xenite, it was absolutely unbelievable to share space with her.
I know. Yeah, I was sort of pinching myself through it, going, is this happening? Is this really happening? And she's so easy to talk to, and she's got such a great vibe, and she's such a good storyteller that it was actually easy to sort of hang out and chat with her. I'm fangirling next level.
Same. I felt like she was like a old friend that I met that day. You know, like she was just so down to earth, onto it.
She made us feel really at ease when it was probably meant to be the other way around. It's like, guys, you got this.
No, 100%. She's brilliant. And I think that really speaks to like her innate ability that she talks about, being from the Midwest and having this vibe that just gels really well with Kiwis and Aussies. Yeah. She's just able to like bring anyone. I think she could probably gel with anyone around the world from any cultural background, to be honest. Like, she's able to just like bring people around the table and be really generous and interested and kind. She's great.
Yeah, 100%, man. Oh, you got your Varia Eve question answered quite well, didn't you?
Yeah.
I know you were so excited about the flirtation and, huh?
Yes.
I love that was actually planned. Like, it was cool,
and
man.
Hard out. And I've actually spent a little bit of time doing some research and looking up the old scripts. So if you don't know who wrote that episode, so the specific one is Homecoming in season 6. Missy Good, so Melissa Good wrote that episode.
Oh, yeah, Missy Good, the fanfic writer.
Yeah, exactly. So she wrote, at the time when Xena was coming out, she was a really prolific fan fiction writer. And as a result of her really...
She's a legend.
She is a legend. I love her stuff. I've read
You've read it all.
Fuck me dead.
Yeah. You've read them.
I have read a lot of her work. And because of this good work, she was actually picked up by the show themselves, and she wrote 2 of the episodes in season 6. So Homecoming was one of them.
What a dream.
I know. Excellent, hey? Homecoming and Legacy. So Homecoming is the episode that we're talking about, right? Where we see this really layered on thick, heavy Eve Varia flirtation where they're like comparing scars. That's what Adrienne's referring to.
So sexy.
And when you read that script, Missy Good, we thank you. You actually took it above and beyond. They kind of peeled it back. You were like, good on you, girl. You're like pushing that envelope for us queers back home.
Yeah, thank you, Missy.
Yeah, legend. And I wanted to talk about, so I mentioned to Adrienne that the Eve Varia relationship is number 4 in the fandom. It is based on an AO3 shipping filters and how much content there is available on Archive of Our Own.
You need to explain the AO3 shipping content.
Yes, I do. Thank you. That's a really good point. So AO3 stands for Archive of Our Own, which is a website that people upload their fan fiction to and their fan artwork and things like that. So, sorry, when you go into the Xena fandom, I've just then, my very thorough research has comprised of me going into this section and then just filtering the relationships, the different ships in the fandom. And, actually, Shell, I wonder if you can guess. So, they're number 4. Eve Varia has the 4th most amount of content written about them. Who do you think is the top 3 above them?
Right. So number 1, Xena and Gabrielle.
Yes, of course.
Xena and Aries, right?
Yes, well done.
Yeah,
Number 2.
That's a big one. That's a huge one. Aphrodite and Gabrielle.
Oh, Gaphrodite. No, but I wish it was there. That is a great guess.
Me too. Oh, me too. Not Joxer and Gabrielle.
No, not Joxer and Gabrielle.
Good.
But you're getting warmer.
Joxer and someone?
Joxer and someone, yes.
Is it a male or a female?
It's a male.
Get out.
Yeah.
Autolycus?
No.
Aries?
Yeah, Aries. Joxer
No
and Aries.
way.
Yeah. So the top 3.
Oh, that'd be sexy, actually. That's pretty hot.
They're quite a popular relationship.
Wow.
Adrienne raised how it was like pretty odd, in her opinion, that they would be like coupled together because of how horribly violent Livia had been to Varia, killing her sister.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's totally understandable. It's definitely like one end of the spectrum of the enemies to lover trope. Like, it's a very unbelievable. But that is like a trope for a reason, right? Where people are in opposite corners and then end up being attracted to each other because of the opposition that's kind of between them. Isn't it? I know. But yeah, she's right though. Probably not the vibe to like murder your future lover's sister.
No. And I loved her take on a reboot.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Moo-moos and margaritas.
I love the moo-moos and margaritas. I am down for a moo-moos and margaritas reboot. A high camp foolishness. Love it. Do it.
Yes.
Like, I'm right there. Get it.
Me too. I'm up for that. Yeah. I got to mention how beautiful her creativity consulting sounds. Like, guys, if you're an artist out there, a creative writer, or you're just feeling stuck in the industry, it's a hard business, man. Like, she would be so good to chat with. I love how she was talking about how creativity improves mental health. It really does. You know, just to create something, to give something life is, and then spiritual health as well. And how she was talking about it being creative actually grows brain cells. Like, man, the importance of art. I was loving everything she was talking about with that. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, it is really, really wonderful. I think that it really blew my mind because I'm not a hugely creative person, if I'm totally honest. I've always been a bit nervous to be creative, but like more recently, whenever I've done stuff like that, you can really feel what she's talking about in your body, can't you? When you exercise those creative muscles, as vulnerable and terrifying as it is, I think that it's wonderful. And I totally encourage everyone and anyone to do it. And if you're doing it, like, how wonderful is it that she's saying she's opening it up not just to her own colleagues, but to like us, everyone, She's got so much to offer with her massive history of experience. Wonderful.
Totally. I would totally reach out to her in the future. She's just wonderful, like it's so important.
Yeah.
And how funny was it when Adrienne blushed at Renee O'Connor for being a bit risque?
Yeah, a bit bawdy.
So that was all improv and that was on the spot. So her reaction on that video is like legit her reaction, because you can see her just go, oh, really? You went there? You went there with the bareback riding?
I
love that so much.
I have like through the roof respect for Renee O'Connor, like through the roof. Absolutely. Like, she knows her audience. Yeah. She knows the character. She knows.
Yeah. Renee O'Connor, I like how courageous she is, by saying a joke like that and just being cheeky. Yeah, it's just great.
That's
it's
so
really
true.
Cool.
She's so just like silly and lighthearted and in touch with like, give the gays what they want.
Yeah, man.
And she delivered.
She did. Oh, but before we leave, I love the story from season 6, episode You Were There, about her cursing on set and not... And the followers of Eli weren't prepared. I wish I saw that outtake.
The poor extras.
Could you imagine all these extras going, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? It would be so funny.
You would just be so worried that this person is turned into like full-blown diva and is like popping off at the crew, and like you would just be, oh my goodness, I love it.
Yeah.
I would love to know if anyone can lip read. What is she saying?
She does say motherfucker. I can see.
Does she?
I feel like it's motherfucker.
That is a naughty word.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should put it out to our. That is a naughty word.
Absolutely hilarious. If she wants to do like a live action replay at a con, I'm sure people would pay a lot of money to see that.
Yeah, I would. I'd fly all the way to LA, baby, and be front row, gold tickets.
Perfect.
Hey, so guys, don't forget to follow us, like, share, subscribe on Instagram, Facebook. We have a website, XenaWarriorNutballs.com.
Come along there, send us a scroll.
Yes, send us a scroll, please.
Stay in touch.
And write all over our stuff and tell your friends, Xenites.
I can't wait to see Adrienne Wilkinson's next 5-year projects.
I know.
She's been working on Sidetracked, eh?
Yeah, that sounds so fun. Sounds really funny. So that's it, guys. Adrienne Wilkinson.
Ka kite anō, everyone. We'll see you again soon.
Battle on, Xenites.
Oh, I totally forgot that I really wanted to do Livia's war cry.
Oh, do it. Now's a chance.
Okay, you ready?
Can I take my headphones off?
Nah. Yeah!
Fuck.
I think the input went higher than it was supposed to.
It sounded like Miss Piggy.
Like Miss Piggy.
It's like when she attacks.